Hey there, darlings. Welcome back to Refuge. I am out in the garden. It's so pretty. I didn't think I was going to get to come out here this evening. It's sprinkled for just a minute, and you can see that is a storm cloud. I can't tell which way it's going, so I'm not sure how much time I have. Things are getting pretty wild out here. But in the most beautiful way. So I just grabbed a basket and I'm going to make a quick sweep through the garden. I have quite a few things to harvest. I needed to come down to turn the water off in the high tunnel. We've had a good deal of rain lately. Oh, I keep forgetting to show you all this. Here is a testament to the fact that seeds want to grow. So this is the gravel that we pulled out of the garden. We had put this pea gravel down in the walkways, and I hated its stinking guts. It was just a sensory nightmare, actually. In the garden, it was just loud. The weeds grew up through it, so we pulled it all out. But look at this. All of these sunflowers are literally just growing in the gravel. Obviously, there's probably a little bit of soil down in there. But yeah, those are just growing in gravel. So you guys can look at them and feel encouraged that you don't even have to really be a great gardener to grow a garden. Because for the most part, we're just trying to do something that wants to happen naturally. But when we give it our best efforts, and we can have pretty good expectations that we'll get something out of it. So I committed the Great Okra Massacre a little while ago. You can kind of see some of the remnants of it here. This is where I had tons of volunteer okra. There's still some coming up, but I had pulled out most of them to let a few of the plants get larger. I noticed some flowers the other day, and I guess we're coming to the point that I'm gonna have to start checking it pretty constantly because I have a few okra pods down here that are definitely too big. Now, in the case of this, I'm gonna cut this bottom leaf off so you guys can see. Plants are just trying to make seeds. When they succeed in making their seeds, they say, "Good job, buddy, you're done," and they stop trying. So if I want to eat okra, which is the seed pod of an okra plant, even though these are too big for me to eat and use, they're too tough, I want to go ahead and cut them off so that this okra will still try to make seeds. That one right here is probably usable. One single okra pod, my first one this year. This is the Alabama Red variety. Here's another one. It's a short, squatty, kind of thicker variety of okra. I really like it. It's also similar to Texas Hill Country, but it's really good flavor. I like how wide they are when you cut them in discs to fry them. But like all okra, you really have to make sure you get them when they are small, because they get tough really fast. When I see a tomato plant with really curled leaves, I always think, "You stressed out, buddy? You okay?" Because that's what that is. They're just a little stressed out. On and off again. Storms with very hot weather will do that. Up until this point, all of the cherry tomatoes I've harvested have just been eaten fresh. But we have promise in the future of abundance where I'm going to have to start getting creative with them. I'm going to have to get it all up in these cucumber plants. But it's so nice whenever you get snacks when you come out to the garden. Working and snacking. I dig that. This is a silver slicer cucumber. This is like my absolute favorite cucumber. You can harvest them when they're even smaller than this, or you can let them get larger like slicer size, but I usually like to aim for kind of this middle pickling size. I think it's safe to call it peak cucumber season. It's quite a few. One thing I've not yet made this year that I may just make for dinner tonight, because this evening Maya took the boys out and it's just me. I don't have to cook for anybody, so a lot of times I will take that opportunity to just make something that I feel like eating that's not anybody else's cup of tea. And there is a dish, I made a video on the farmer's table last year. It's called tarator, and it's something Will taught me about, and it's a cold cucumber soup. It's really, really good. Very refreshing. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the summer. You know, whenever it's hot and I'm working in the garden, it's just a nice, refreshing thing to eat. I'll put a link to that video if you guys want to try it out. I'm a little concerned here because my tomatillo jungle is getting intensely thick, but the bitter melons are kind of competing, and I've tried to like pull them back, but at this point they're so entwined that I'm not sure I can really do much about it. I do appreciate how many of you sent me bitter melon recipes. I am going to try them all, but goodness, what a mess. I'm not to harvesting tomatillos yet. What did I just peek? Yeah, that doesn't look ripe. It looks defective. They're starting to get really full. Hopefully I will be harvesting some soon. I love tomatillo salsa so much. I cannot wait to make some. All the beans and squash that I sowed in this bed that came up all got eaten by roly-polies. So I don't know if I need to just put more potatoes and citrus out, maybe put some more of the Slego out. But so far, more or less everything that I've sown in this bed this season has been a flop. My garlic's been a flop. Now that pineapple sage looks beautiful. And I put a couple of my Steve sunflowers down here, and they look really good. But yeah, I've attempted to sow about 8 things in here, and none of them have grown past this big. Another lesson from the garden. You win some, you lose some. I will regularly have people like lament to me like, I'm such a bad gardener, and they'll tell me like things that went wrong, and I'm like, you can't define yourself as a bad gardener because you're a bad gardener if you forget to take care of your garden repeatedly and you don't do something about that. Like, that's really the only thing I would say is, yeah, you're really kind of stinking at gardening. And I say that as a person who like routinely forgets things and does things wrong. And so even there, I think there's some measure of grace to still be a pretty good gardener, even if you are not the most disciplined person. Even if you struggle with being forgetful, having a lot of irons on the fire. Oh, Lord. Speaking of forgetting things, I missed one. Listen, even good gardeners occasionally end up with baby-sized zucchini, okay? That might be a good video idea. What to do with a baby-sized zucchini. It is lovely. I told you guys a couple weeks ago that was really kind of going to be the peak of the garden as far as health, and it's true. Like, I'm starting to have some sickness, and it's just we've been going from like rain to, you know, almost 90 every day, 32 Celsius. Like, it's hot, it's extremely humid, and then we're having all these thunderstorms, and it's just kind of the perfect conditions for things to get a little sickly. But even with conditions not being ideal, we'll still eat. You know what I've really been wanting to make is a French onion soup. Even though it's hot, we have all those fresh onions. I may make some French onion soup. It's not exactly ideal summertime food, but when the onions are fresh, I mean, come on. Y'all, I've been watching these peaches with, ferocity. I was actually thinking about this earlier. Back when Maya and I first started dating, I remember I used to be a substitute teacher, and I remember I couldn't have my phone out all the time, but every single time I got a break, I would just like eagerly go check my phone to see if he had texted me. And this went on for like really the first year that we were dating before we got married. I vividly remember like this anticipation that I had to see like, did he message me? Because I was really smitten. I am checking this peach tree with that same like anticipation. Oh, that says something about these peaches and how good they were. Last year, our peaches that we got were the best peaches I've ever had in my life. I have thought about them so many times, and I know that even though I can stop and get local peaches and they're lovely, None of them are going to be as good as the ones that we have here. So I am watching on bated breath for the peaches to start blushing and start ripening. Everything else this year has been like a couple weeks early. So I need to double check and see exactly what week it was last year so that I can maybe have a grid. But I'm curious if it's going to be early because everything else has been. It looks like the storm cloud was indeed going in the other direction. But you can actually see over there that it's raining. Normally in the heat of the summer, I would lament the rain not coming my way, but we've had so much, like everywhere is super squishy. You can see here, just the whole farm is very saturated. And there is such a thing as too much rain. I mean, it gets to be pretty difficult on the garden and the animals for it to stay super wet. Oh yes, I forgot to check the eggplants down there. I'm gonna check them in here and then I'll go down there. The beautiful thing about high tunnels is that when we get tons of rain, obviously they're protected from at least some of that sickness because the plants are protected. The downside is, of course, you have to water even though you've gotten several inches of rain the last couple weeks because they're protected from it. Tarator and baba ganoush. With seasonal eating, I welcome my old favorites back to my table every year, like friends that I haven't seen in a while. We don't eat strictly seasonally. I mean, like we buy things from the store and stuff like that, but like I'm never gonna buy an eggplant from the store out of season to make baba ganoush. I just eat my fill of it when it's coming out of the garden, and I love it. It just makes things so special and gives it a sense of, I don't know, it really gives an edge to the garden. Like I'm working to get to experience these things that I love to experience, and I'm only going to experience it from this place. I don't know. It's very motivating to me. I'm very excited about dinner tonight. You goofy dude. He was running ahead. He stopped like, what? You're going here again? A few more added to the basket. I think we can call it eggplant season as well. So I've been really sucked into a book today. I don't know if y'all can tell, sometimes when I'm not as like bubbly and excitable, it's a lot of times it's just that I've been like in the headspace of really focusing on something. And since Maya did take the kids today, I've had some quiet time. And I started reading this book called A Girl Named Samson. It's by Amy Harmon. She writes excellent historical fiction. My friend Brianna told me about her a few months ago, and I've already read probably like 4 of her books, something like that. But it's really good. And so I'm thinking that with my mama's night in, that I have a quiet evening in my house, I am going to eat a girl dinner of dips and cold soup and vegetable thing alone. And I am going to read my book and revel in the silence. I am gonna love it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.